welcome to the show, Dee. Thank you guys. Oh, some people are saying no audio. Is unmuted is already following me. Can you see that? Can we get a mic check on you, Dee? Dee, would you be able to give us a mic check? Yeah,
Yes.
there you are. Okay, cool. So we are streaming. If everybody could hear both Dee and I, please let us know. I think I lost your audio, Dee. Are you there? Yeah, you are. All right. Anyway, we'll figure this out. There's a lot of technical issues, as I always tell you guys. I will let you know what I said in the intro at some point. Oh, and we lost Dee. Why did we lose Dee? No, she's back. All right. I don't know if this Skype is giving up or if something happened from your end. But could you give us a mic check one last time? Let's check if the audio and video are syncing up. I can't hear you anymore. There you go. Now I can hear you.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
there we go. All right.
Very.
So the audio is on now. Everyone's saying Murad is here, Judy's here. Thank you guys for letting me know that the audio is on. Dee, I gave a little bit of an intro when the audio was off, unfortunately, but that gives us a chance. In your own words, could you introduce yourself to the people here?
Hi, everyone. Well, thank you for joining on this call, and thank you, Adnan, for giving me the opportunity to talk about isolation motivation. I think, considering the times that we're in, I think it's an amazing topic. Well, yeah, my name is Dee, and I come from a small town in South Serbia. Well, it wasn't really easy. And the good thing about today's topic is that I can relate to it in a great sense. People either change out of desperation or inspiration. And considering what I've been through in life, I had to make a decision whether I was going to go on, live the life I deserve, or just settle. And if there is some of you, if there is anyone out there that can relate to my story, I would really love that. Well, you see, up to the age of 18, my everyday life included domestic violence and dispute because my dad used to be an alcoholic, and it was a very challenging. I had a very challenging childhood, which further led me to a change, right? Growing up in a small city, everyone tells you that you're not good enough, that you're never gonna get anywhere in life, and that pretty much can affect your entire psyche in a negative way, as it affected me. So up until the age of 18, I struggled a lot, and I stand here before you today to tell you that I fought my way out, and that yes, you can do great things in life, and you matter, and your voice matters, but most of all, your story matters. And I'm here to tell you that you are the universe, and that you can do whatever you set your mind to, the way I did, which is what I'm going to talk about later on.
So, given that kind of background, what the guys didn't hear in the intro, as I said, Dee is actually a pilot, a published author, and a life coach right now. So, given that history that she just shared with us, and thank you for sharing. That's uh, pretty a pretty heavy thing to share. I know a lot of people kind of find have a lot of trouble sharing stuff like that. But given that history, can you tell us what drove you to achieving so many goals and reinventing yourself? I mean, 3 times over at least.
Yes. Well, that's a good question. See, every time I was facing trouble, my life was endangered a couple of times even. Quitting for me simply wasn't an option. Even later on, when I went to college, for example, my family and my friends told me, you're never gonna, um, you're never gonna do anything good with it. You won't achieve any of what you dreamed of. And most of the time, your friends and family are going to be the first ones to discourage you from any dream that you have. So, but I was simply stubborn. I was a fighter. And that's how most of my friends actually describe me, as a fighter. I simply didn't allow other people's opinion to define who I was. And I think a lot of people need to hear this, because when life hits you hard, you need to gather all your resources and not give up. Never, ever. Not from yourself, not from your life, and not from your dream. So simply, I think this mindset of quitting was not an option, kept me going and kept me alive. And trust me, once you reinvent yourself, the universe kind of starts sending you signals that you're on the right path. And from then on, everything just flows. You know, everything is so much simpler, and you start enjoying the change. This is what's pretty amazing. So don't ever, ever quit on yourself or on your dreams. Just keep pushing forward.
So what was the thing that, like, for example, I mean, you got your pilot's license, which is something fairly rare and pretty outstanding, and then you decided to write a book. You wrote a children's book, which is also something that's fairly hard to achieve. Not giving up aside, what was the drive behind the book? What made you? What woke? What? You know what I mean? Like, what, you woke up one day and you said, "I want to write a children's book," and it just happened.
Well, as everything else in life, it doesn't just happen. I believe that there are no coincidences in life, and that everything happens for a reason. Um, Before I tell you the book story, I actually have the book with me. If you guys would like to see it, this was my dream. So I'm holding my dream in my hands, and I'm telling you that you can do it too. It's no big deal. Um, Let me tell you first about how I got into flying. One night, I was so sick and tired of playing the victim role in my life, and I made a firm choice that I was going to stand up and go forward. So I wrote this motivational letter to one of the to the manager of the cabin crew here in Serbia, to the national airline. And you won't believe what happened. Like, the open day was actually going on, and I didn't even know it. And the motivational letter was so good that they actually came back with an application. So I just developed this love for the skies after watching a movie. It was so funny. See, in those times of desperation came an inspiration. And this movie is called View from the Top. It talks about a small town girl coming from a broken family, connecting to the skies through a friend. Sounds familiar?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I just thought I should give it a try, and everything just started from there. And the love kept growing and growing. And I got into the national airline. I flew for a couple of months, and then I wanted something bigger. I wanted to travel the world. and I decided to go and apply for Emirates, which you probably have heard of.
Yeah, I
And
think everyone here definitely knows the massive airline Emirates. Yeah.
exactly. And then, they took me in out of 1,000 something people. 11 of us actually passed the interview, and I just left for Dubai. After 1 year of flying, I was so in love that I spent an entire year in the cockpit trying to gather information on which license to do, how do I start, and so on. And trust me, signing a loan that I needed to take, considering I had no other financial support than the ones than my own. Signing that loan was something that I'll never forget. I was so scared. I wasn't really sure if I was cut out for piloting. I'm a woman, the taboo. Um, but I did it. So I was afraid, and I did it anyway. And it turned out into this wonderful thing. I flew in Serbia at the beginning, and then I went to Florida. So yeah, my classes, started. But let me tell you something. Working for Emirates, I'm not sure if you guys have friends in Emirates. We worked a lot. So I used all of my days off to fly to US. I've flown 16 hours one way and 16 back. So only I could spend 3 or 4 days flying and learning, and that was really exhausting. So I would come, let's say I would come home from a flight 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. There they were on Skype waiting for me to do a test.
Yeah.
So it was really challenging. But once you're hungry for your dream, the will is there. Nothing can stop you.
And I mean that's kind of when you say it, your story is so inspiring because when you say it, it sounds insane. It sounds like a lot of work. It's actually insane. I mean, just to get your pilot's license, everything you had to do, all the days off you were working and stuff. But so after that, you decided to write a book.
Well, see, that wasn't enough for me.
That's. I mean, I'd like to think of myself as driven and motivated, and a lot of the people watching here, a lot of people on the page, a lot of the tribe, as I like to call them,
Yeah.
are very driven and motivated people that kind of go out of their way to create, to do either music, film, production. There's a lot of people that are in the medical service and stuff like that. But what you've done, Dee, is a little insane.
I would agree with you. My day used to have like 50 hours. 24 just simply didn't cut it.
So let's talk about the book. So you said after all of that,
Sure.
you decided that you wanted to write a book, which is your dream, as you said.
Yes. Well, you know that in Emirates we used to travel a lot, and I remember this flight to Africa. I used to fly to Africa a lot. So I remember a colleague of mine actually called me to go to, to keep her company, to go to the children's orphanage. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. Let me see what you're going to do there. How's it going to go? So we went, and I was actually, what I saw was really shocking. And I was really emotional about what I saw because it's an orphanage and it's children's orphanage. I will not add more to that. Anyway, I went back to Dubai, and then one day I had another flight to Africa, and I said, you know what, maybe I could take something to the kids. And, I saw myself as someone who was going to help them and teach them something.
Hmm.
Well, it didn't really turn out that way.
Hmm.
I did gather a lot of gifts. I spent my entire salary. I actually had to call colleagues to help me with the bags and everything. Like 5 of us went to the orphanage. And, standing there at the gate, the kids started running towards me. They hugged me and they kissed me. They saw me for the very first time and they had no boundaries. It was just pure love. And there I was thinking that I was going to help them with all of this material things when in fact it wasn't what they wanted. They wanted love, they wanted touch. And that actually inspired me to write a book, which is going to be based on empathy because children need empathy to grow healthy. And since they didn't have parents, I thought maybe I could help in this way. So I went back to Dubai and I started writing a book, and that took 2.5 years. It wasn't really easy.
Wow.
I had to do a lot of research on how to do it, where to publish. In the end, I published in US, and yeah, it turned out really good. I was actually giving it on some of the flights, and yeah, I got an award from Emirates, Star of the Month, for that.
I mean, that is a pretty big deal as well. Everything you're telling me about your journey is a pretty insane deal, and you're saying it like it's all right. I mean, I just did this thing that one time. So you took all that history, all that knowledge, all those skills, all those things, and you're turning it into a life. You are a life coach. You're taking all that stuff and trying to teach people how to motivate and inspire, and how to take better care of themselves.
Yes. Well, see, when I got to Dubai, I told you that my life in Serbia, here in Serbia, was really difficult. And I didn't really, I mean, all of that time, I didn't really have the time to stop, think, and get to know myself. I didn't really know who I was. I wasn't aware of so many things around me. So when I got to Dubai, I actually started reading books, listening to podcasts and YouTube videos so I could evolve into this conscious, uh, conscious, good human, right? So this was my personal growth path. And piloting was something that I really loved. But then again, I loved reading books on personal growth so much that it kind of just went alongside. And then one day, I was searching something online about life coaching, and you won't believe, but they had a library, like a library on the side. And I actually, out of 10 books, I found that I read 8. And I was like, this is weird. So, yes, all of that wasn't enough. So I decided to, go to the training and see what comes out of it. Personally, I needed a breakthrough, honestly.
Yeah.
When growth is a never-ending process, and we learn every single day. I'm on a journey, same as you, same as all of these wonderful people who are watching. So I needed a breakthrough. I needed to see where I was in life, to see what I wanted out of it. And I believe that if you have a clear vision of what you want, in actually of who you are, you'll know what you want to do in life.
Hmm.
So that's how I went for the training. Yes.
So, just out of curiosity, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm someone that has also changed my path a whole bunch of times, and I don't really have like a definitive. When someone says like, "Hey, what do you do?" I don't really. I kind of jokingly say I make videos and music, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that like uh, traditional career path, if you would say.
Okay.
So, you think the breakthroughs and stuff like that is committing to one's uh, all like end goal, definitive kind of vision, or can you just be someone who does a whole bunch of other things, just committing to each one at that time? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Well, you know what, Adnan? Each and every one of us is unique in its own way. So there isn't really a rule that applies to all of us. There isn't a certain path that you need to walk on. Um, it's like water. When you stand in the water, the best to do is just flow with it. And if you try to grab it or squeeze it, it's gonna go out of your hands.
I love that
So
analogy. That's my favorite thing. It's like water. Yeah.
it's like water. So you need to go with the flow. You need to, if you add stress and panic to what you do, it kind of loses its sense. So you just need to be yourself and follow your own path. Please don't worry about what other people will say. That's a big thing here because you know the um, our educational system always used to tell us, go to school, finish a college, get a degree, and work for someone, right? And I don't think that's the right way to go. I mean, by all means, if you have successfully done that and you're happy, that's one thing. But then again, there isn't a rule that applies to all of us. Do what makes you happy. Go with the flow and enjoy what you do. It's that simple.
We're going to jump to the comments real quick for a second because
Sure.
Judy is asking about the book name. And I believe I don't know how to pronounce the name. I don't know if you do, Dee, but if you can, someone already replied with the book
Yes.
name. And Judy's asking book name and age level, please.
Sure. Well, it could be up to, I used to say up to 7 years of age. So the book is actually in Dubai Mall. I think they still have a copy there. Yes, it's Melody Nay Stories. Yes.
That's awesome. That is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Aziz is saying she's a lioness of a woman. So
Oh my goodness.
that's a very big title right there.
I paid him to say that.
All the people I paid are completely bailing on me. So there's there's no one in the comments.
That's okay.
So let's talk.
Yes.
Let's talk about a little bit about the current state. Everyone
Okay.
is in isolation. Everyone's either self quarantining or on mandated lockdown. And let's talk a little bit about inspiration in these times. I touched on it a little bit on the last episode with a friend of mine who's a musician that was talking a little bit about how he's using this time and the stillness and the quiet to create stuff, but also the stuff he's creating is coming out kind of still and quiet and a little more mellow. So do you have any advice about inspiration and motivation in this lockdown era?
Yes, sure. Well, I'm gonna try to paint it with a small example. My husband was reading a book the other day, and I went after him in every corner of the house, and I was like, "Can you just leave that? We need to get this done." Or I was telling him, just go to sleep and relax, and he was like, "I'm doing this so I can relax. This is my relaxation." And I said, "Oh, okay." So yes, isolation motivation. See, I love this quote, and it goes like this: you either run the day or the day runs you. So use this time to connect with your loved ones. Use this time to read a good book, or use this time to talk to people. Just, we've forgotten how to be human. All the time we're on phones, we're on, I don't know, Facebook or whatever. It's good to be on Facebook, read something positive, get an inspiration. That's all good. But just, it's also good to just sit down and think about what you want in life.
Yeah.
Think about where you want to be in 5 years from now.
This actually leads
Or,
me. Sorry to cut you off.
yes,
Keep going. Follow your thought, and then I'll cut you off. Sorry.
yeah, go.
This actually leads me to the question because there's two schools basically of thought. Whenever I read about people talking about inspiration during isolation, they're like, this is the time to grind. This is the time to get everything you want done. This is the time to achieve all your goals and finish the album and all that stuff. And then there's the other side where it's more about like, this is the time to kind of be still and reflect and look inwards and spend time with family and stuff like that. So, given that, what do you think of that spectrum, and where do you think you fall in terms of if you were to advise someone when it comes to that kind of
Yes.
stuff?
Well, see, Adnan, I'll repeat what I said before. There isn't one size fits all, but I also believe that we have enough time to do everything, all of that. You have, I mean, this lockdown has been going on for how much, how many weeks, you know? Uh, if it inspires you to read a book, then by all means, sit down and read a book. If you think that you need some alone time to reflect on where you are in life and where you want to go, by all means do that. Once you are, let's say, done doing that, you can always go back to your family and spend some quality time with them as well. So honestly, there is a lot of time for everything. But whatever you do, do it so it serves you. This is the main point. For me, for example, I'm building a platform at the moment, which I will launch after everything goes back to normal, God willingly. That's what I'm working on. And yes, I read a book every now and then, but then again, I have a small baby to take care of, so that's in between. But you see, I have spread and organized my time so I could enjoy all of those things. There is no reason why. I mean, for you, grinding could be, reading 10 books a day. And if that for you is something that's relaxing you, by all means, do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
also spend some time with your family. This is the time.
Absolutely. I think I completely agree with you. I think somewhere in the middle between those two extremes is
Yeah.
exactly where I sit, because a lot of people have been asking me like about the show and why start now,
Hmm.
and my answer is always like it's one of those things. I think other than like bridging the gap, introducing people to the tribe, trying to sit and motivate and inspire different ways through different people I know, like yourself and a couple of the other guests I had. I think it's one of those things where like if I spend my time being constructive towards something might come out of that eventually, and if everything goes back to when everything goes back to normal, we'll I'll have one more thing to add to my list of things that I do, right?
Very true. And you have inspired me with your show. Um, I'm so happy that I met you, and I'm so happy that you gave me this opportunity um, to speak to these wonderful people and to yourself. And I would just agree with you. I would just say that it comes down to you either run the day or the day runs you. Don't waste your time and do whatever makes you happy. There is plenty of time for everything, for a book, for a family member, for everything that you wish, but do it so it serves you. That's the whole point.
Absolutely. We're going to jump into the
Yeah,
comments for a second. Casey says, at
sure.
my age, I've learned to do what I love. I still work a regular job, but I also make custom jewelry now. There's so much more fulfillment in life when you do what you love. One way that I've taken my mind off all the craziness is by making jewelry. It forces me to focus, or else I could mess up big time. Absolutely, absolutely. I love anything that can kind of make you zone into the work is something I always love doing. Judy says, depending on where you are, be still or grind. The rat race here in America versus family and social focus in the UAE, absolutely. The rest is needed. In the UAE, would give more focus for the grind. I think so. I think just based on the environment here, grind is even before this lockdown, has always been a part of the dialogue in the UAE.
Yes.
I don't know if it's something that's it's because just of the business like nature of the city, or the fact that everyone here is either working or studying. But it is a big dialogue here, and I think you're finding that's where people are kind of struggling in the UAE now. There isn't that drive, there isn't that go to work and fight for that position anymore. So a lot of people are struggling with that.
I would have to, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
I would have to say to Judy, it's the same here in Serbia. Social life is much needed. With 9 to 5, a lot of people are failing to focus on their families and develop a close bond to each other. So we're missing on that too. We're missing out a lot, actually. And that's why I'm advising people to just use this time to reconnect, I would say. So that's a great comment. Thank you, Judy.
This is actually something I wanted to ask you for myself. You mentioned having a baby, and you and the tribe know that I have also a brand new 6-month-old, fresh out of the oven kid. So how has that changed your life, and how are you dealing with that in isolation? Having a kid in lockdown is kind of having a kid in general is kind of a strange thing already. It's a life altering, mind altering thing that I can't even begin to explain. So how are you dealing with it, and how do you advise that Tara and I deal with it?
Yes, well, as you said, having a child is a life altering thing. You know, I always say that personal growth, the peak of personal growth, is when you actually have a child. Why do I say this? Because up to that moment, you can fake some of the things. But when the child comes, you need to be the model that he's going to go after. So you basically need to become what you preach in order for him to grow into what you want him to be. So it's the fastest shortcut to personal growth.
I've never heard anyone describe it like that. That's actually very cool. I love that.
It is, because, well, you know, if you're gonna, you know, yell at him for doing something bad, what are you gonna do when he grows up? He's gonna do the same thing, right? And then you're gonna yell even more at him and be like, well, I made this. So, but there's plenty of time to go back and, you know, think about what you've done and possibly change the course of your behavior. So you basically need to become what you teach. And for me, that was the biggest deal of all.
And that's literally what you do. You became a motivational life
role
coach.
Model.
You pass it on as well. That's very, very cool. I'm gonna jump back into the comments. Casey saying, thank you, Adnan. I appreciate you doing these shows. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I believe Casey and Judy are becoming friends in the comments right here. Hey Judy, I see you on here a lot. It's nice to see you again. And then Judy says, thank you. I love it so much, and I have time to do it now. Amazing. We're making friends already. I don't know if you know this, but I call everyone on this page, on the Facebook page, the tribe, because these guys have had my back from the very beginning. This page started as just something I used to upload my vlogs on, which at first were just kind of tutorials on how to make better videos, and then they became kind of family vlogs, and then the family vlogs turned into like making bigger videos, and everyone on here just kind of follows the journey, which I absolutely love. So just a shout out to everyone that's tuning in. It means the world to me, and thank you, Dee, as well. Like this is kind of a random request. I asked you, do you want to be on this crazy show where we talk about motivation? And it was so cool for you to come and talk to these people. I think everyone's getting a lot and getting to know you very, very well. which is my next point. How do we find you? I have your Instagram up on the page right now, and we talked a little bit about you building a platform where people can go for the coaching and for a lot more in the future. But for now, can people hit you up on your Instagram page to learn more about you?
Yeah, sure. Well, I believe that you left my Instagram link on Facebook. Yes, you can find me on DeeTalksCoaching all together on Instagram and on Facebook. Yeah, you can add me as a friend. We could develop some friendships. That would be really super cool. On Facebook, I'm as Dee, Dee, that is it. Regarding the platform, yes, I plan to make a platform where I teach people how to tell their stories. So I believe that people's stories are sometimes life-saving, and I think there is value in them and there is voice. And to all of you who are watching, I would love to say that you need to tell your story to the world and possibly inspire someone else. Or as I said, we either change from desperation or inspiration. Why wait the desperation? Tell us your story so we can all benefit from it. Don't rob us of your greatness or of a skill that you know, or just a friendly advice. And well, the platform, to go back to that, the platform is going to be about storytelling, teaching people how to open up and go out to the world and be a no matter what person, to teach people that their dream is possible, for them to believe in themselves, to not pay attention to what other people say. And this will all be after this lockdown, after everything goes back to normal, God willingly. And yeah, we will do so many wonderful things together. One of them is going back to kindness, human touch, being social again. And I don't mean social by sitting at the table and 10 people staring at their phone. No, but you giving me eye contact, your attention. I think that today one of the most expensive thing is someone's attention. So I can't wait to start doing that, and I hope that we inspire as many people as we can.
Well, by the looks of the comments, I think there's a bunch of people that are on the same page, and I just like randomly to say that I love the idea of you being able to teach people to tell their story. I'd like to think,
Yes.
like back in the day when I was doing the tutorials, one of my goals was to give people enough, not enough technical skills, but like just teach them enough to be able to like make vlogs and do Instagram stories and just kind of connect through the realm that I know the best, which is video. And you want to do that, but I mean in terms of like life skills as well, right?
Yes. Life skills. Basically, any life skill that leads you to personal growth and breakthrough.
That is awesome.
Yes.
We have a comment here that says, I want to hear the story about the 747 and your tattoo.
Oh my goodness. I forgot to blog this guy.
I
This
mean,
is
if you want to tell the story, we got some time.
oh my goodness. Yeah, this is my very dear colleague from Emirates. He stopped flying as well. Yes, I have a tattoo of a 747 aircraft here, close to my heart. I'm just in love with aviation. That's why I'm a pilot. And my colleagues in Emirates, when they would see the tattoo, they'd be like, this woman is insane. So I was actually recognized by this tattoo. It was so funny. Yes, 747-400. That was my baby.
Well, as you can see, I'm a fan of tattoos, and I think each tattoo is like a stamp in time and a representation of something that obviously means
Yes.
something to you. So that's something that's definitely in my wheelhouse.
I would like to read one comment that is, oh my goodness, a friend
Absolutely,
of mine.
take it away.
Dee is a person which I saw 2 times in life before she went to Dubai. It was happening 10 years ago. I barely knew her story on anything about her. The time I lost one of my family member and I needed to start working for my pocket money. I remember the one word she said to me, go forward. And it was really simple. 7 years later, I've been in 56 countries. Is he trying to make me cry? And
Is it
most
working?
of them I lived. So thanks to that, I'm still doing my dream, and just listen to her. Maybe it will not help you today, but tomorrow, in the moment that you need it most, you will remember the words she said, and it is going to help you. Thanks, Dee, and thanks, Satnine. I'm going to call him later on and block him on Facebook.
Well, thank you for the comment, because that seemed to be amazing. Can you tell us anything about that exchange when you said go forward? Do you remember that? That's over 10 years ago.
See, I remember him telling me that I inspired him in a way, but I can't really remember the moment. See, that's the thing about inspiration. You don't always remember what someone said to you, but you can always remember how they made you feel.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
So, to read something like this, it's wonderful, and thank you.
Well, Dee, we are creeping up on 45 minutes here, so we're going to start wrapping up. But I wanted to ask you, what parting words do you want to leave now that we've made some new friends and talked to some old friends, and
Yes.
We're hopefully getting a lot of the people to come check you out, and we're definitely have a part 2, you and I, on this show. I don't know
Yeah.
if I should call it a podcast or a show. I still on the show where I don't mute the intro, hopefully, and
It was so good.
it was such a great intro, and I muted it.
Want to do it again?
This is why the show is called Unmuted. Our good friend of mine, JM, always makes fun of me for muting and forgetting to unmute. But it'll be I'll put the what I said as a description in the under the video when we're done. But let me know what would you last parting words to our people over here. What would they be?
Whatever you do in life, do it so you go forward. Whatever you just go forward in life. Just believe in yourself. Believe that anything is possible. Once you break that limit in your mind, that you can do whatever you put your mind to, this is the moment when you actually start living. So don't be afraid to make big moves in life, because most of people are afraid. Please feel free to feel all the feelings, because we are human beings after all. So be afraid, but do it anyway. Never ever quit on personal growth. Always look to the better side in life. Always look for positive things in people, in situations. And please, hug the trouble, because if it wasn't for the trouble, you wouldn't actually move forward. Okay, a lot of people are scared of the word no, and I embrace the word no, and I embrace the problem, any problem that comes along, because it's an eye opener. Okay, don't run away from all these things. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be afraid. But then again, if you work on yourself, if you work on your awareness of how the mind works, this is the moment when you actually gain control of your life and of your actions, of your emotions. And this is when you actually become the captain of your life. So whatever you do what serves you, move forward, and don't ever quit learning and being positive.
You said something that I think is one of my favorite quotes as of now.
Yeah.
Be afraid, but do it anyway. I think those are like words to live by. That's a hardcore song. That's a hardcore metal song waiting to happen. Be afraid, but do it anyway. I love that. I absolutely love that. Just before we go, we're gonna read a few of the comments. Casey saying, "Oh my God, you're so amazing! I have a private pilot license for a single engine plane. I only have some training in IFR. Yes, I keep myself busy. I have been told by many people all the things that I can't do, so I make it my business to achieve anything to tell myself that I can do it." That is beautiful, Casey. She also says, "Please consider doing a podcast show, Adnan." Thank you for saying that. We will find a way to distribute these episodes as audio streaming on podcast platforms very soon. We're still working on that, but I'll figure it out if I can also figure out how to unmute myself in the intro. Judy says it's been 45 minutes. That went quick. It did.
Wow.
It absolutely did. I feel like I feel like it's been 5 minutes, to be honest with you. I just feel like I could learn so much more, and I think that's the beauty of it is that I want to introduce you guys to Dee because there is so much to learn and there is so much to follow up on. Casey also,
It's an endless and ongoing process for sure.
absolutely. Casey also says that no could be a blessing in disguise. So keep the
Yes.
motivation and energy and keep moving forward. Absolutely.
Thank you, Casey, and thank you, Judy. Thanks, everyone, for coming online and watching this. I hope that we managed to make a difference.
Absolutely. And with that,
Thank you, Adnan, for being so wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity.
thank you for being on the show. The show is now called Unmuted, which I will work on, I promise. And we'll have Dion we'll have Dion for an episode part 2, a follow-up when everything starts moving forward. Thank you guys so much as always for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.